Hello, my beautiful collective. It's Psyche Kai here. This reading, this energy that we are aligned with, if you are falling upon this video, there's definitely going to be a message for you. There is this energetic turn when it comes to our relationship with abundance, and especially as we are stepping into more and more of this new year, year of the fire horse. This energy is coming into accumulation with the intentionality of your own practice. There's something that's being recalibrated and recharged because of the fact that you are also, honestly, maybe even reconstructing things from the bottom up, from foundational levels. So yes, welcome if you are aligned with that download. There's definitely going to be some form of a message within these cards for you here. I'm just going to reshuffle this deck that I was already using to channel. The words you're speaking, the information that you're picking up on is very, very strong. In other words, the things that you're picking up on are very key components. They're very key components. Excuse me, stuttering. It's been a while since I've done some, long-term or longer versions of content that is also very significant for you. Your stamina is increasing. The way that you can have conversations, the way that you can carry conversations has also changed. This change is because of the cooperation that you've been having with the different parts of yourself. So like I was saying before, this recalibrative energy is coming from you regenerating yourself from releasing and rebirthing. Like this is the turnover energy that comes with your own transitional momentum. That is what I'm getting from this channel right now. So for this collective, I'm going to go ahead and use my Mermaid Tarot. I also feel kind of drawn to using possibly my Rider-Waite for clarity. Yeah, because there's just a lot of energy, and I feel like especially for spiritual practitioners, teachers, anyone who does something like what I'm doing is just like the processing that has to happen on a personal level just so that it can translate in a cleansed enough space is just as integral of an expression to the collective as well as it comes with, like being professional, you know what I mean? So like this energy is really coming through and translating as like almost like professionalism. And it's funny because like I even got ready and everything, and like I was just gonna go and get coffee and go to work. But what I'm also recognizing is there's a different level of prioritization. So I'm actually, before I get into the tarot, I feel drawn to pulling some luminous, humanist tarot or oracle cards. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that just so I can channel a bit more versus receive the direct messages from the tarot, which is how I utilize the oracle decks. If you're interested in a personal, that is what it is when I provide you my listing. Tarot or tarot and oracle. We have pull back to propel forward. This is literally what I'm talking about. Okay, this is like crazy. Because like it feels very like underneath the water. Like this is genuinely what it feels like. Think about the resistance and the pressure and the friction that happens, right? So it's like different. It's not necessarily friction in the sense of going faster. It's actually for the sense of going slower. And it almost feels like topsy-turvy for some people in this collective, but for others, especially those who have been practicing spirituality and have delved into their own personal practices, okay? Like this isn't about getting tarot readings from people. This is like literally you going on meditative walks or practicing breath work, like something as simple as that. So that is really coming through as well. Sagittarius is also very evident in this card because of the bow and arrow. You need to have your own direction when it comes to the fact that you're going to shoot this arrow and maybe it's going to land. It's not like a maybe in a sense of like, oh, I don't know if it's going to hit the target. It's definitely going to hit, but it's going to hit different than what I expect because I know it's going to be greater. That is the level of trust that you've already built, not only with the universe, of course, but with yourself as a co-creator, as a manifester, as a magician in this humanness, like literally, that we are experiencing. Wow, I've never gotten this card. High frequency more frequently. Yeah. This is elevation on a collective level. This is elevation to the sense of like you are really starting to speak your truth and starting to understand your knowledge. There is a step-by-step process that I feel like a lot of you guys have been starting to discern and distinguish and distinctify. I don't think that's a word, but you're distinguishing it by distinctly defining it, distinctly defining the step-by-step process so that you can declutter. That's kind of the energy that I'm getting. It's creating a step-by-step process, not to create a structure, but that's so that you can declutter the unnecessary fluff, the unnecessary distractions, the things that don't resonate with you, like whether it's people, places, environments, ways of thinking. It could be anything, because I do feel like your knowledge and your way of thinking is really coming through. Okay, cool. So this is connecting to the reading that I was already pulled for before, because these two cards came out as well. And I did kind of feel like it is collective, is inescapable bliss, and it's all a story. So make it a good one. This is you in that creative energy. And this creative energy is coming through very differently. It feels a lot more sound. It feels a lot more grounded. It feels a lot more silent. And so in due part of that, for a lot of people in this collective, especially my collective, if you're coming from TikTok, it's this energy of all of that healing work has to come with the acknowledgement that you are healed. To an extent, you are healed. So you're not referring to these past experiences that are from dysregulated moments of time. It's actually healed moments of time. And so your foundations are changed. They're just drastically different. More to give. Yeah, at the bottom of the deck, more to give. You have the capacity to give more, not because, you know, you've already been giving, you're tired. It's because you actually realized that you were tired from overgiving. Then you recuperated. You actually expanded your space to give because you started to take away, like I said, decluttering. You're taking away all these distractions. You're dethorning, you're weeding out that energy. It's like a beautiful process of creating a clean and cleansed space, but it's not something that you're going to forsake moving forward, you know? Like this is something that you're going to consistently do, but you're not going to have to do it as often. That is the level of healing that you've gotten to. And this is just confirmation if you've been really considering like, yeah, bruh, okay. The Hermit, seriously? The Hermit coming out ruled by Virgo. As I was just saying that, like, this is just confirmation. 6 of Wands. Yes, celebrate your successes. You have succeeded. You have succeeded yourself. Like you have been in succession of up leveling, right? So you are reaching your higher realms. You're reaching higher levels and higher frequencies, right? So you are meeting your higher self. Therefore, the elevation unlocks a new level, not because you need to push yourself to get to the next level right away. It's because you unlocked it by naturally meeting yourself at a certain level, right? The neutral level almost is kind of what I'm getting, because this doesn't feel like this doesn't feel like the peaks of your joy. This feels like the momentum that you're building to reach higher peaks of beyond anything that you've enjoyed, of course, but more so anything that you have already dreamed of. Yes, 2 of Wands. Anything that you've already dreamed of, anything you've already experienced in a psyche sense, like your dreamscape, your imagination, and also like on a physical level, like in this 3D realm. And so this is that energy. 7 of Wands, Secession, 10 of Pentacles, the Moon card. Yeah, so maybe some of you guys have been really reestablishing. I think I actually mentioned this in a recent reading. I don't know if I actually posted that. You know what? Maybe I did. So if you watched the reading on TikTok where I talked about your healing your relationship with money and abundance and like what it means for you to be abundant and how you interact with that energy, that is also coming through in this reading, because the succession that's coming through is to see yourself like with the high grounds, you know, like you have the advantage. And it's interesting because we have the Page of Wands at the bottom of the deck, and with the Ace of Pentacles, the Moon card, which is ruled by the moon, but connected to Cancer and Pisces energy. And we have the 10 of Pentacles. So every single thing that you've actively been presenting yourself in your reality has been almost alluding to you questioning what is the core, like what is the foundations of this? What is it that drives me to consistently build something for a long time? And then this redirection from the Page of Wands, it's not a drastic shift, like you have to reestablish everything in your life. Even though I was kind of talking about this in the beginning of this video, like you're addressing the things that are being weeded away. Things are naturally falling because the foundations are not stable to support what you're building, because what you're building requires more land, for example, right? So it's like that kind of ability to set yourself up for success is to also acknowledge that there's not enough land. Like those are the steps that you take. And so what I'm getting as well is that this is about maybe even the way that you're taught about building success and longevity and sustainability in your family. And maybe you even have a family that is also coming through strongly for a lot of you guys. You're very strong mothers, mother figures, mother energies, but it doesn't mean that it negates any of the masculine father energies, father figure energies that you've been providing as well. Thank you, confirmation, because there's a lot of blue energy that's coming through in this reading. I really do feel like this is what has been coming into accumulation for a lot of people on Earth, really, as I guess you could say just someone who's spiritual and someone who talks about spirituality. Like this feeling of like everyone starting to reassess our roles and no longer defining it based on just like binary aspects. For those of you who align with this, are here for this, because I really feel that like there are just polarizing opinions and perspectives on this. And so what I'm getting from you is you're also recognizing how taking in this information of opposing factors, right, is, it could be helpful to a certain extent, but you're recognizing how it could also veer you away from your path from like an energetic, embracive level, like what you're willing to accept and welcome into your life. And so I really feel that with this collective energy, there is a lot of like, I'm going to be here for myself. I'm going to propel myself into the future. I'm going to acknowledge my worth. I'm going to see myself very clearly. And so let's go ahead and see, because I really am interested where you guys are headed during this time, because like what it is that is going to be walked into as we are taking these necessary steps to move forward. Universe, spirits, guides, thank you. I split the deck and it's 2 of Cups with the 7 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Interestingly enough, this is a lot about your relationships and the relationships that do support you. This has been a very prevalent message, not only for me as a tarot reader to you, but as someone who gets tarot readings as well. So it's like this energy is very interlaced. There is a higher knowledge that all of us are starting to tap into 4 of Swords, 5 of Swords, because of the fact that we're recognizing self-betrayal is what really gets us further away from the path. It's not a path that's already inlaid for us. It's actually a path that we pave. And so therefore, our choices, 4 of Pentacles, 7 of Wands, with the Hierophant ruled by Taurus here, this energy comes from your pleasures, your values, the things that are luxurious to you, your level of understanding what it is it looks like, feels like, acts like, thinks like to rest. These things are just as important, especially with the 4 of Swords and the 5 of Swords and the 5 of Pentacles and the King of Wands. Okay, so maybe some of you guys have been experiencing like copycat energy and like people taking your ideas or formulations of your ideas, okay? Like no idea is our own. I just want to make this clear, especially because a lot of you guys are creatives in my collective. And if you do happen to come to me for like career advice, I will make this very clear. We're not special, we are unique. You know why we're not special is because we're not alone. Because the moment that you think that you're alone, you are. And so therefore, I would not want my collective to feel alone, right? That feeling is so natural. But the reality of it is that you're not. You have your guides, you have spirit, you have universe, you have yourself, you have your ancestors, you have your ascended masters, you have your friends, family, soul family or not, whatever it may be. You have support. And so this energy of King of Wands to 5 of Pentacles is showing me that you're recognizing that, yes, to an extent, imitation is flattery. But when it comes to imitation, it's inspiration. And the way that people can take it upon themselves to make it their own is by being inspired and following their own creative siphon. Okay, so this energy is coming through very strongly with the King of Wands, Five of Pentacles, especially because there are a lot of you guys who like create music and stuff like that. Maybe you have a rhythm, maybe you have a BPM that you've already set for a certain song, it hasn't been released, and then you hear something that's like that. Okay, some of you guys are recognizing that it's no longer a trigger, it's a challenge. And so this challenge is something that you can very much take upon yourself to alchemize and transmutate and make something entirely your own, the Hierophant, and gain new wisdom from. So anything that you've been experiencing when it comes to like partnerships, like contracts, anything along those lines, like of business related to your career path, not just your job occupation, but your career path. So this energy is very much coming through. Your values, your morals, your beliefs are starting to come more and more to light. People are starting to see this a lot more clearly, but I feel like as well, you are starting to see it a lot more evidently as well. And this is very, very strong. And so I'm going to go ahead and actually just continue to shuffle and finish out this reading because I do feel like there's a lot of different components when it comes to really making that decision to not just walk away from people sometimes, it's really just to tune them out, to not listen to other people's opinions about what it is that you're doing or what it is that, what process it is that you're undergoing and how you are progressing and what way that you are making those steps to progress, okay? Like those kinds of things are also maybe like if you want guidance, I would recommend just honestly sitting with yourself. Like as a tarot reader and who provides like a service to others, I always recommend to my clients before you guys come to me, go to yourself because that will be the one teacher who will also be the student with you. Like they will, like that person within you who can be the learner with you is the most compassionate, the most graceful, the most like abundant. That is the energy that I wish to relate to you guys because we have the Queen of Pentacles and we have the Justice and I split the deck to Strength. This is about having the courage to be confident even when you don't know what you're doing, yes, but also even when you don't know what you want to find. Okay, because Queen of Pentacles is very grounded energy. It's a very stable energy, but it's also giving me right now with the Justice card ruled by Libra, the cardinal air sign, which is also the sign that is ruled by Venus. So a lot about your pleasures, a lot about having fun and being lighthearted, but it's coming with like be graceful, be at peace, like be at rest truly when you are participating because these things are meant for you. That is the energy that I'm getting. Like all of the abundance, all of the desires, they desire you more. They wish for you more. They want more for you. That is already there, right? We've already established this, right? And I promise you, it does take practice. I, as someone who has lived that, can very much understand. And so this is why this level of like reassessing, like I want to build a long, or like, for example, it's like you want to build a safe environment for your family to thrive, but your children haven't been born yet. And then they're born, and then you realize that they actually make you feel very safe. And then you kind of connect with them and you have a conversation and you realize that it's reciprocal naturally. You know, like that is the energy that I'm getting with the moon. It doesn't feel like confusion. It feels like subconsciously it's already there. That is the level that I'm getting of this abundance level, of this abundance mentality. Sorry, like abundance mentality versus like just the feeling, you know, like this feels very much about your way of thinking and the way of doing, despite all of the blue energy, which is very much your throat and your crown and, or sorry, third eye, but crown as well is coming through because you are so humble. And that way of being humble has been a great practice for you. Honestly, a great grand practice. That's what I mean by great, like a large amount. Like it's been grand how humble you have been throughout this life. And I'm not saying that you're going to change or that you need to change or anything like that. I'm saying this is in a sense of like, I appreciate the energy that you provide for people because even if you don't mean to, it is there. Like I feel it as well. Like as I'm talking to you guys, as I'm like starting to continue to produce more content for you guys, like this energy is because of the fact that you exist. That is why it's so important to recognize, oh, this bothers me. I don't wish to interact with it, but I wish to respond to it differently so that maybe if I approach it in this way, I could be understood, potentially. You know, like if I change the way that I approach the situation, if I change the way that I communicate, my tonality, my attitude, everything can shift. So how about I experiment? How about I try to see if I can apply my one strength here and then see if that actually allows me to be settled and at peace with whatever it is that is occurring around me. Not because of what they're doing, but because of what I did. That is the stable groundedness that I'm getting from you. Four of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. All right, so thank you so much for allowing me to do this for you. Obviously, privilege and a pleasure. But if you're interested in a personal, please go ahead and email me. It is in my bio. But other than that, I'm sending you so much love and support. And I shall see you guys in the next reading. Bye, collective.